Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment with your hosts, Joe and Ryan.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
I am Joe Wakefield.
I am Ryan Lang.
Hey guys, so for those of you joining us for the first time, and for those of you returning, well, those of you returning, hey, what's up, Mike?
Yo.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. And for all you new people, what we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy. Sometimes we do ghost, or cryptozoology, or a mysterious curse. Things like that, of the spooky nature. Then we have a segment called Disclosure Discussion. That one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions. UFO stories, UFO photos, any kind of interdimensional kind of talk. Are they under the water? Are they coming from another planet? Are they from another dimension? That's what we talk about.
Yes, and then the latter half of the show is dedicated to everything entertainment. So sometimes that's headlines or interviews, or we talk about celebrity deaths, or we do a little quiz or a fun little competition of making up sequels to movies that will never happen.
It's been a while.
That one's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And those two things together, the creepy, spooky alien ghosts and our whole entertainment thing, including music, video games, and movies, put together make the Oreo, the deliciousness that is our show, Earthling Entertainment. Welcome.
Pass the milk, sir. Pass the milk. I'm ready to dunk this cookie.
Dunk this cookie.
So, did you hear that we discovered a cave on the moon?
I vaguely heard something about this, you know?
The thing
I just
is
figured
huge.
lunar cave trolls is now what we have to worry about.
There are, that could be a thing. We've often talked about on the podcast here that extraterrestrials could exist underground on the moon. We've always thought it. It did ring like a bell.
That's true. That's true.
So, just interestingly enough, this is actually groundbreaking, dude. And this article that I was reading earlier that was like kind of told me about it was only just like a couple weeks ago. Like, this just happened. And this is groundbreaking because of temperatures. Like, the whole main reason that we just realistically couldn't do anything at the moon.
Why we can't live on the moon
is that just the temperatures are insane.
Right, because like in the sunlight, it's like because
250 degrees Fahrenheit.
And then in the cold, it's what, like 50 below or 100 below?
Minus 410.
Yeah, see, that seems bad.
That's really bad.
Yeah, it's not a hospitable place for humans.
And literally being at the bottom of this cave, they can tell, dude, it stays literally steady 63 degrees Fahrenheit, which is beautiful.
Yeah, so basically, their plan is to colonize, is to have like a little dome or a little city in the cave. And you say this cave is big enough to accommodate, or is it just
enormous?
Or is it just the idea that because this cave exists, other caves like it must exist?
Yes, they have always talked about lunar caves, I believe is what they call them, and they knew they existed. I think they've gotten it on, but they never found one. We finally actually got one, and we know where it's at. And we know how big it is, how deep it is, and we know what the temperature is. So they say literally within this arguably puts us at the mark of anywhere from 20 to 30 years, we could really have people there.
Interesting.
Set up. And can you imagine the implications? If we could figure that out to make that like a launch pad. I believe even Elon Musk has talked about that. I don't know, the SpaceX
where basically we would use our moon as like a way station to launch other ships farther, deeper into space with, yeah, that's very true. That would be awesome. Because it would definitely be cheaper to launch from the moon than it would be to go through our atmosphere. The fuel it takes to break through our atmosphere has got to be more, especially since the size, because we're dealing with more gravity than it would be to shoot off the moon.
Right. Yeah. And not much atmosphere at all. No atmosphere. So you don't need as much power to go.
So I have a lot of moon questions. Is it weird that talking about all of this makes me think about werewolves?
It does?
No, it really does. I wasn't lying.
Because the moon?
Yeah, the moon, right?
That tracks.
Exactly. All right. So I was thinking a couple things while we were talking about this. The cave trolls was a joke. But then I thought, what creatures would be on the moon? And we've talked about moon spiders, blah, blah, blah. But then I was thinking, hold on. What if werewolves who are affected by the moon how would they be affected on the moon?
They're just always werewolves.
They're just always exactly.
It's a full moon every day.
So if there's a pack of feral werewolves running across the moon right now, wouldn't that be a fun like B-movie sci-fi?
Well, wait a minute. What if it was like opposite? It would have to be a full Earth. So it's like a full Earth.
But it's always a full Earth.
And then they turn into humans and die. Just like
Wait, why in your scenario?
Because in my scenario, werewolves on the moon can breathe on the moon.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, why in your scenario can the werewolves breathe?
Oh no!
And not only that, but gravity stops working, so they just kind of float off. Ooh. There's a lot of fun questions there, man.
There are, and you know,
there are people out there who believe they are werewolves, and maybe they are. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never met one. I've never seen. Prove to me they don't exist.
Well, there you go. But here's the question: what if? What would you do to commit to that kind of lifestyle? Like, what I'm saying is, all right, let's use vampires as an example. Hold on. So you can't come out in the sun at all. You have to, at least publicly, be seen drinking blood. You have to fully commit to a vampire lifestyle. But you get a mansion, and you never have to work again. But you have to, for the rest of your life, commit to that. Could you do it?
Probably not. Blood doesn't sound tasty, but I see where you're going with this. So, like, if someone were to actually like become like a real life, like a living piece of art.
Sure. Yeah.
Almost.
Well, they're a performance artist. They are committing to being like, no, I am Lestat. And like, we're gonna go real far with it. You will have all the surgeries that need to keep you looking as young as possible.
It's like
paid for.
Let's face it. Here in Detroit, you just got to take a trip to City Club to meet that guy.
That's funny. Every city has the golf clubs, and I fucking love the golf clubs.
Me too. Don't get me wrong.
There was one in Hollywood. And it was called Club Sinister. I've been there a bunch of times, and it is a blast, man. They had an S&M room upstairs. It was fun.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, just smacking people all around. And it was funny because I didn't see it coming. Because I was just like, I'm going to explore. Because it was like one of the first times I was there. So I was just like, I did not expect to see people crucified and being beaten.
Spank my hairy ass.
No. Keep in mind, it was all consensual, not actual crucifixion. But I'm just saying, they were tied up in such a way that it's reminiscent of that.
Thank you for clarifying, Joe.
I don't want to get the fucking place in trouble. Like, I was just thinking, I'm like, a lot of people like that place. I'm not trying to call them out. No, everything up there was above the board. It was just kinky.
People just hanging out, man. Just hanging out,
Just like we all would on the golf club on the moon, which is run by the werewolves who are constantly werewolfing. And that's how we try to bring all that full circle.
I'm just saying that's how it comes full circle. But yes, there are totally creatures on the moon.
So Ryan, to answer your question, yes, I've heard of a lunar cave.
But yes, with this lunar cave, it's exciting. I'm so used to just jumping back into a story that didn't like phase me at all.
That didn't phase you at all. No, I know you're excited because you believe that moon colonization is closer than ever now.
And thank you for reminding me of that because you got me back on my train. I wanted to say that also. It's always been the excuse of the Apollo program, NASA, et cetera, that the whole reason they stopped was kind of funding stopped because people really stopped kind of caring. It became kind of ho-hum. It went from everybody being like, oh my God, we got to the moon to, okay, ho-hum, back to work.
We don't really care anymore.
I think that if we get people there and, kind of like the ISS, they've been doing a lot of like video streaming and stuff like that.
You think it'll get the public back on board with the space?
Correct. And hopefully we will be able to set up things that, that aren't too damaging to the environment of the universe, like that we could set up along the way so that we could keep communication really, really good.
Yeah, totally. And we need to do environmental surveys and just make sure that like the local werewolf population is not affected by our construction.
Oh, and you were asking earlier about like what would you do to commit? I thought you were saying committing to the fact that you're afraid of such a thing, and I was going to say like, well, you'd have to have like silver bullets, right?
Whoa, what?
Because I thought you were saying like if you believed in werewolves on the moon and you were out there, what would you do to believe in it if you believed in it? I'm like, well, I'd probably carry silver bullets if I believed that, right? Because silver bullets kill a werewolf.
You know what? We went into so many different trains of thought there. I don't even know. I don't remember No.
You don't remember that silver bullets kill a werewolf?
Yes, of course I know silver bullets kill a werewolf, but yes.
I'm just saying, if I needed to fight one.
You shouldn't have a gun in space. If you depressurize your suit or any place, you can't have a silver bullet. You know what you got to have, man, is silver lances or silver swords.
Okay.
We'll go all
Fair
out
enough.
here. Can you imagine an astronaut with a silver sword fighting a space moon werewolf?
I can. I played Skyrim.
That's a fucking album cover right there.
They all fight. In Skyrim, they fight the werewolves, and they all have silver swords.
All right, we really have to stop. This has gone into such nonsense. We normally do some banter before the show, but
we just did.
I feel like that just got real ridiculous.
I love it.
All right.
I think that was the best one we've ever done, Joe.
Well, that brings us to our first segment.
What's that?
Spooky stuff.
Haunted campgrounds. The campfire is out. It's dark outside your tent, and you hear something rustle in the woods. You know it's probably nothing, but your body is on alert. Then, as a moonlit shadow slowly passes over your vulnerable tent, you ask yourself, why did I think it would be a good idea to spend the night at a haunted campground?
'Cause you're a dumbass, Johnny.
That was not smart. It's time to put your nerves to the test and head out into the woods where strange sounds, floating figures, and high electromagnetic readings abound. Here are a few campgrounds across the spooky spectrum that you can visit. Number 1. Big Moose Lake, New York. Stories of hauntings are often preceded by legends of murders, and if the murder happened at all, the details are murky. This isn't the case for the story of Big Moose Lake, site of the well-documented murder of Grace Brown in 1906. Located in a remote region of the Adirondacks near Fourth Lake, in a place that has a primitive campsites. The lake and the killing that took place there.
When they say primitive campsites, they just mean like no plumbing, right? Like it's the kind of place you got to dig a hole.
Correct. Yeah, it's just a place.
So there's probably not even a fire pit. Like it's just like it's woods.
Right. Literally, you can go ahead and go out here and pitch a tent, make a campfire, as long as you know what you're doing.
All right.
Back in the day, people knew what they were doing. Could you imagine that freedom today? Could you imagine people today? Like we would light the whole country on fire.
The Alaskan bush people tried to do that, and then they got sued.
Ooh, dangles. Not good. The lake and the killing that took place there have inspired numerous fictitious accounts, including Theodore Dreiser's novel An American Tragedy and the movie A Place in the Sun starring Elizabeth Taylor. The story goes on that 18-year-old Brown was working at a skirt factory in Cortland, New York, when she met the company's owner's charming nephew, Chester Gillette. They began secretly dating, and soon enough, Brown was pregnant. She begged Gillette to marry her, desperately wanting to avoid the fate of an unwed young mother. To her delight, he promised he'd take her on a trip, presumably to propose. They traveled to upstate New York and decided to paddle a canoe onto the lake. Brown had mentioned that she couldn't swim, and when they got far enough out, Gillette grabbed a tennis racket from his bag and smashed her in the head. She fell into the water and drowned.
What the hell was that tennis racket made out of?
That's random.
Well, no, I just feel like that. I mean, I don't know. Is that enough to beat someone to death?
With the side of it, yeah, but it'd be funny, like just beating her with the net, just like boing, boing, boing. Like, this will take a while.
You have to turn it on the side. You're just being an asshole.
Oh yeah, shit.
Oh my god. Can you imagine though? She's just like, why are you bringing a tennis racket on our boat trip? Just in case we want to play tennis. Shut up.
You know, I fucking love tennis. Lady.
It's like, I would try to bring the cricket bat, but I thought that'd be suspicious.
Gillette was arrested within days and eventually sentenced to death.
He shouldn't have kept the bloody racket.
I had a game time the next day, dude.
Dude, fuck this guy, because it's so easy to get away with murder like 150 years ago. All you have to be is not there.
I understand her ghost haunts the lake. A psychic named Lucia Reed told the New York Times in 2006. So there's story number 1.
All right.
We're taking it very seriously.
Hold on. I would say I have thoughts, but I feel like I've expressed them.
Yes, indeed. So that means we're moving on to number 2.
That's the deuce.
Holy Ghost Campground, New Mexico. In New Mexico's northern Sangre de Cristo Mountains, Holy Ghost Campground within Santa Fe National Forest is an isolated but scenic place to spend the night. But before you go, know that it is rumored to be the haunting grounds of a Spanish priest who was murdered there in the 17th century. According to a local ghost tour guide, Alan Pacheco, the surrounding Pecos Wilderness is home to all kinds of bizarre activity. There are a number of people who have gone missing in that vicinity, Pacheco says. It's the Bermuda Triangle of New Mexico. People disappear into thin air. No clothing or bones are ever found. According to Pacheco, people who have also spotted UFOs.
Wouldn't it be weirder if just their clothing was found?
I mean...
No, I mean, like, not tattered and ripped up like they were eaten by a wolf, but just, like, full on off the rack. Just their clothes disappeared like they were raptured in the middle of that desert. That would be weirder.
That would be weird. I mean, that would be like a whole different kind of story. Because, yeah, that would imply much different things. Or were they Jedi? Did they just pass into the Force?
You got to watch out for them lightsabers, man.
I'm just saying.
You know, people don't know this, but if you're attacked by a lightsaber, it can cut off limbs, it can kill you. But if you're hit in just the right way, gently to the side, you turn into a cloak.
Well, if you know the training of how to pass into the Force and to become completely one with the Force, then yes, totally. 100%.
All right, so Ghost, what is it? Holy Ground?
Yep. So this is
Holy Ghost Campground.
According to Pacheco, people have also spotted UFOs, seen strange shadows, and heard voices. There's all kinds of speculation. Maybe there is a cosmic doorway that opens up there. Maybe a Star Trek-type dimensional wormhole. Different beings, different energies. You name it.
Then he tried to sell me mushrooms, and it all made sense.
I'm in. When reached for comment, a spokesperson at Santa Fe National Forest denied the existence of paranormal activity in the area. Holy Ghost Campground cannot be haunted for one simple yet big and important reason. Ghosts are not real.
Yeah, that guy sounds like someone you want to invite to your party.
Yeah, Buzz Killington.
Exactly, man. Holy crap. Can you imagine that? Like, the no-nonsense guy be like, no, the forest is not haunted. Ghosts are not real. Go home. Oh, thanks, Jed. Dick.
Nothing is exciting.
Yeah.
But we have an update.
Update!
On Friday, October 18th, after this story published, a group of outside editors bravely spent the night at Holy Ghost to investigate the claims of paranormal activity. The night passed peacefully, but the next morning, associate managing editor Alita Berchisky got up early to fish the nearby Holy Ghost Creek. About 10 minutes in, her hook got snagged on a root along the bank. As Berchisky worked to free the hook, she saw a dark figure of a man in her peripheral vision approaching her. He was walking weird, kind of loping, Berchisky says. Initially, she thought it was her husband coming over to tell her how cold he was, walking strangely in an attempt to warm up. But then I turned to say hi. She says, and nobody was there.
So, yeah, I mean, there you go. They got the guy saying there's absolutely no way this is haunted. Ghosts aren't real. A tour guide saying, yeah, there definitely is ghosts and UFOs and you name it. And then finally, this woman is experiencing stuff. So I'd say that's pretty definitive that creepy things maybe abound.
Dude called it the Bermuda Triangle of New Mexico.
Dude, everybody's got a triangle.
And we've said it here on the podcast.
Japan's got the Dragon Triangle.
There could be all these. Maybe these are just certain kinds of portals, interdimensional or wormhole type shit.
Yeah, but after a while, if every place is special, then nothing is special. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm disillusioned by this New Mexico Triangle. I don't know if I agree with it.
And how do you guys feel? Message us. We'd like to hear what you think.
Synergy.
Number
3. In the Haunted Campground Saga.
Haunted Campgrounds, Braley Pond, Virginia. This popular fishing spot in George Washington National Forest, 60 miles from Charlottesville, is the site of Virginia's most haunted campground, Braley Pond. Rumors of disembodied laughter, floating figures, and other unearthly activity escalated after a gruesome gang murder took place there in 2003.
Rough.
According to a story by The Dirt, not long after the murder, paranormal researcher Shay Willis visited the pond and immediately began experiencing nausea and dread upon arriving. Just before midnight, Willis and her colleagues heard something moving in the water, splashing violently. As they ran back to the car, Willis claimed something landed on her back and began crawling all over her body. Suspense. They escaped the campground and made it home, but Willis continued to feel haunted, experiencing nightmares and not feeling like herself for weeks afterward. It was like a communication with whatever this thing was, she told The Dirt, like little bits and pieces of it were still stuck with me.
Ooh. And I love that because there's a couple stories of people who go like haunting experiences or go to haunted places and then are basically followed by whatever you want to call it, a poltergeist or a demon or just the bad energy is attached to them.
They like latch on.
Yeah, well there was a psychic who talked to this woman on one of the weird mystery shows that I was watching. I couldn't tell you which one now. But anyways, he described it as he saw a black cat that would dug its claws into this woman's back. And he had to slowly pry it off. And after that, like, she was cured from the curse. Things like that, you know?
That's crazy.
Whew, don't want to have a demon or a ghost attached to you. I mean, obviously no one intends for that to happen, but, you know, try to avoid it if you can.
Total side note, I took my kids to Disney World, and we were on the Haunted Mansion, and I don't know if anybody knows how it ends. It ends with the doom buggies turn you to, like, a mirror, and
it looks like ghosts are sitting next to you, right?
And it says like beware of hitchhiking ghosts. Is like basically he's like a ghost may follow you home today. My son, my oldest son, was just
shit.
Like I kid you not. He was petrified at that moment. Like so. Just saying, if it could click to like he was young. I think he was like 5.
Okay, like I don't want your kid to be upset, obviously, but that is the most hilarious thought in the world to see.
I'm not kidding.
See your kid Thor just be, oh,
dude,
shit,
yes,
Dad, there's a fucking ghost.
The moment it clicked, and I could see the mouse find the cheese, like he was just like, wait a minute, it's there, and he said it's gonna follow me. like, dude, like no joke, man. Like, and I was like, dude. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's just a ride. It's just a joke.
Prepared.
It's just a joke. It's just a magic trick. Like,
oh.
So that's what that. I don't know why that reminded me of that because it was like that and The Conjuring, right? Like it latched on to you and your family is what she told them. What's her name? The famous ghost hunter lady with the husband from The Conjuring.
I don't remember, but I am with you.
You know who I'm talking about with Annabelle.
Yes, I do.
But that brings us to number 4.
Chopper number 4.
Better than Chopper number 3.
Chopper number 4 has crashed. Who is the first on the scene?
Chopper 4. Fort Worden State Historical Park, Washington. There are miles of buried tunnels.
I'm sorry. We just have references that we repeat way too often, and I think it's hilarious because I feel like there's like the person who's listened to every one of their episodes, like, I get it, but then there's that new person who's like, why are they doing that?
Well, let me just fill y'all in. It's been a while since if you're just joining us here, welcome, and we want to say that we've been friends since literally like 6th grade. So our inside humor sometimes tends to come out.
All you need to know is it's a stand-up bit with two twins. And
Yes.
It's Chapter 5.
And we don't even know their frickin' names, but they were on Comedy Central and they played their special all the time. And I think we watched it together one time and we just found it frickin' hilarious because it is. And we keep it alive, keeping the spirit alive. So jumping back to number 4.
Yeah. Speaking of alive, let's go back to the dead.
So this is Fort Worden State Historical Park, Washington. There are miles of buried tunnels, dead ends, and old rooms beneath Fort Worden Historical State Park, a former military base that's now a campground 60 miles north of Seattle. There is a lot to be explored here that will get your spine tingling, says Megan Claffin, who works for the park, where you can explore century-old fortifications that house nearly 1,000 troops and officers. While Claffin would not confirm whether the area is definitely haunted, she did say that visitors have had unsettling experiences.
I'm unsettled.
It didn't feel right. Ghost hunters who have visited the fort claim to have witnessed
Fucking weird episode.
paranormal activity, including glowing orb sightings and high electromagnetic readings. This was an active military base and then juvenile detention center for about 10 years, says Claffin.
Okay, yeah, but who died, right? To have ghosts, military base, I guess people could die. But, what was happening in that juvenile detention center?
Well, it says there is definitely an echo of the individuals who have made the fort their home. And if you believe in that kind of thing, perhaps there are some who have yet to move on. So evidently they lived and died there.
Rough.
So, any kind of and I assume burial wasn't too great. So maybe they're still not at rest. That's a possibility.
It's always a possibility.
I don't know. Moving on. Number 5. Freetown Fall River State Forest, Massachusetts.
I love Massachusetts. For creepy stuff, to be clear.
Well, yeah. I love Massachusetts. And yeah, I was there for Salem. I think I was in Boston for a little bit. I was 12, but I remember it was sweet.
Yeah.
Southeastern Massachusetts is home to its very own Bermuda Triangle. Here we go again.
See, everyone's got a goddamn triangle.
A 200 square mile region that's notorious for paranormal activity. 45 miles south of Boston, Freetown Fall River State Forest occupies one corner of the so-called Bridgetown Triangle and is allegedly occupied by all things supernatural: ghosts, demon dogs, UFOs, glowing orbs, Bigfoot, balls of fire, giant snakes, satanic cults. Name your fear, and someone's probably seen it there. True crime has also contributed to the forest's haunted reputation, as a series of murder victims were discovered there between 1978 and 2001. That's quite a bit of time. You name it, it's there.
No,
You're screwed.
I imagine this guy who's disowned his kid. He's in the woods. He's like, oh, my guy's son.
Oh no!
So it made me laugh so hard because it was like, what would be something that you'd be scared
someone's
of?
horrid fear.
Yeah,
it knows what scares you.
Oh my God, that was a good Are You Afraid of the Dark reference.
Thank you.
You
know, and that's
think about the stupid shit people are scared of, and it'd be hilarious, man. Oh my God, you're walking through the woods and you just walk by and you're like, the frames are dirty and crooked. Because on a tree, your family photos just smudged and slightly tilted to the left.
Oh my God, yes, dude, that would make such a good little sketch.
You go just the weird fears people are afraid of.
And you could just do it as a spin-off of It Knows What Scares You. And then it's just oh my God, I need a duster. Yeah, dude, it's so dirty in here.
Dude, the final person's walking in the woods and it's there's nothing. There's nothing. And then you just hear germs! And they go running. The wood sneezed on me.
Right? It's all what's the word? It's subjective.
There you go.
All right. So, moving on to number 666.
What would it be for heights, though? Would you just suddenly be on the top of a tree, or would there be a cliff?
Yeah, I assume there'd be some kind of there'd be some kind of illusion there, right? Like kind of like getting sprayed by Scarecrow in Batman or something. Like basically you just trip out and see what you fear most. I mean, right?
Oh my God. So many people would see their parents.
Oh no. Dude, you're right. I remember one time, like, I think we were just like, I don't know, we were just being kids and maybe smoking weed or something. Not you and me. It was me and other friends and scouts, and we kind of like snuck off or whatever. And this car pulls in behind us where definitely it shouldn't have been. And I look and I was like, I look terrified. And my friend's like, oh no, is it the cops? I'm like, even worse. It's my dad. So
your dad was a scout leader.
Yes, and it was a scouting thing. So yeah, we got busted. We got busted. But as my father always told me, make mischief, not trouble. That wasn't trouble. That was totally mischief, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it'd be different if you were like, hey, now that we've smoked this joint, you guys want to go shoot someone?
Yeah, like let's just go throw this through a business window and see what we can grab.
You've never heard that from a pothead. They're usually like, at worst, they forget to pay for the bag of chips they open while in the store.
Right. It's like I've never had a stoner break his bong over my head because I looked at his girlfriend weird. You know, that's usually other drugs or alcohol problems there. But
that would be another funny sketch, though.
That would be another funny, like
a pothead acting like alcohol makes you do, like driving and all the dumb shit people do when they're drunk.
You know, that'd be weird. That'd be like a stretch. That'd be interesting. Like,
I don't know. That crusade is about 10 years too late. It's unnecessary now. So
it is. At this point, it'd be redundant, I think.
Moving on.
Number 666. Crystal Lake in Los Angeles, California.
Jason Voorhees. That's not what we're doing.
If your mind just conjured up images of the haunted campgrounds occupied by Jason
Voorhees,
you're not alone. This particular Crystal Lake is a sprawling first come, first served campground in the valley where visitors can enjoy views and hiking in the surrounding San Gabriel Canyon. Crystal Lake Canyon.
Yeah.
Sorry. Crystal Lake has been attracting visitors for a long time, but according to stories about the place, some visitors never leave. An amphitheater and dance studio were built here in the 1930s. At the same time, the campground was filled with workers and their families who were contracted for the project. The story goes that one night, a bear entered the camp and attacked a man's wife and children. He ran to their defense, but ended up being mauled as well.
That's good, though, because you'd feel really bad if you ran to their defense and were not mauled, but they were mauled, and you were just like, oh, well, I guess I just failed.
I mean,
like, at least go down with them.
I guess.
Ryan's going to stand back and watch you get eaten. He's going to, no, this is terrible. I'm going to sit here from a safe distance, but, oh, God, I wish this wasn't happening. It just, does it hurt? Does it hurt a lot?
The bear is worse.
How do you feel?
The bear is so much worse.
Oh, I regret this is happening to you.
This is terrible. It hasn't stopped eating.
Yes, throw him the children so you can get away. Oh, he's already got them.
And I'm dead. The family was buried near the dance studio, and the bear was never seen again.
Fucker got away with it.
Visitors say that the ghosts still haunt the campground.
Can we talk about this murderous bear who's still at large?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about him. Some say he is still out there eating families.
Oh my God. You know what? Some say the bear is actually just a manifestation of grief, and he actually lost his family in the winter, and the bear is just like a metaphor.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that.
And he's covered with bludgeoning wounds from people using their children to hit the bear as they're being eaten alive. Like, oh God! They grabs their kid's leg and they're just like beating the bear with their baby, and it doesn't work.
In my head was just like some SNL sketch or something where someone's got like this baby down, they're holding it from its leg, just beating this bear as it's coming at you.
It does work.
Oh my God, this is a ghost story. Sorry, guys.
Yes, this is a ghost story. No wonder they haunt.
This is a really weird episode.
I love it. I love it. We're taking you on it. We're going on a journey with you, my friends. Thank you for joining us once again. Ooh, we got, here we go. We got number 7, Crystal Lake in Los Angeles, California.
We just did that one.
Nope, this is a lighthouse story.
So I just didn't change the title. Number 7, blank.
Oh, number 7's blank?
Yeah, because Crystal Lake was the last one. I just didn't change the title. That was my bad. It's called a typo. I told you. It was a busy morning, but...
So this is Haseta Head Lighthouse in Florence, Oregon, and is such a stunning place that one former caretaker may have stuck around for good. Stories say that Rue, a former resident and employee, still haunts the lighthouse, keeping up her duties in the afterlife. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, you got to clean up your duties.
Yeah, well, according to those who have seen her, Rue haunts the old house in a fairly peaceful fashion, occasionally moving objects, sitting down on freshly made beds, and on rare occasions appearing to handymen who are working on the property.
She is thirsty.
That's right. She's like, hey.
She was a lighthouse keeper, okay? So you know she didn't get a lot of visitors, is all I'm saying. Can you imagine that? Like a horny old woman ghost who shows up to the guy who's like building.
You're a tall drink of water. Come on over here.
I got nothing. You nailed it.
You can book a room in the lighthouse if you are looking for a creepy night, or you can camp down on the beach for the lighthouse at the Carl G. Washburn Memorial State Park.
Either way, their number for Ethel for a good time is in the bathroom wall.
I see you're going to take a dip in the morning. Take the 2-mile hike.
It's so hot. Take off your shirt.
To the lighthouse and step inside. Maybe you'll meet Rue yourself. Go Rue yourself.
Rue-hoo is what I say.
Yeah. Well, just saying, Rue sounds pleasant. Not gonna lie. Like, this sounds like one of the places, like, out of all the places we talk about, Rue sounds like, kind of a Casper.
Yeah, we just got a thirsty old lady ghost.
Yeah, you just have to deal with, maybe her just hitting on you a little bit, but hey,
it might end up like that scene in the Ghostbusters.
Yes. Oh boy. That was that's a scene, we all saw that movie when we were kids. I think that must have been probably the first depiction of a blowjob that like any of us ever really saw. Like that's
funny
exactly what it was.
I don't remember it being like that affected by it either. It just kind of
right.
I just kind of blew past it because when I saw it, I was at the age where like, ha ha ha, sex. I don't really know what that is yet. Continue.
That was like literally the same for me. Like I literally was like, oh, okay, that's adult stuff, and I moved on with the film. Exactly. It didn't even bother me, but it's so funny.
Looking back at it,
yeah.
I didn't get the keymaster and gatekeeper either, and it's
right.
Like, oh,
yeah, yep, totally
this
obvious.
This is all doing its
occultist stuff, totally. So we got another one here, number 8.
What, we're done with that last one?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Unless are you done with Rue? You done with me, baby?
I guess.
Rue in the haunted lighthouse. I mean, it tracks.
This works because the name Rue was always associated with that small girl, that like 11-year-old chick from the Hunger Games who got killed that Katniss was all upset about.
Oh God!
Right. So now I could replace that image with a
horny old lady, lighthouse keeper.
It's like not much better, but I'll take the trade.
And I honestly think it tracks because I don't know if you talked about it, but I've heard plenty of haunted lighthouse stories. Because working at a lighthouse is a very lonely kind of life.
Yeah, a lot of them have unfinished business, and most of that unfinished business is puzzles.
Have you ever seen the movie with Willem Dafoe and the dude from Twilight?
Yeah, it's called Lighthouse. Yeah,
I love that movie. It's so crazy though.
It is a little weird. If you're a fan of like off the wall movies that kind of end with a yeah, I recommend The Lighthouse. Black and white. A lot of people don't like that. I love it.
I love that too. So number 8.
Our final haunted campground for this very strange summer episode of Earthling Entertainment.
Spooky campgrounds. Antietam Creek Campground in Hagerstown. What's MD? I always forget what that one is.
You know what? I'm going to leave you hanging.
Okay. It would be surprising if a campground located... No, hold on. We are... No.
You gotta look it up.
Yes.
All right. Do 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 do.
Maryland. I would have never, ever, ever, ever thought of that.
That's why I really wanted you to. That's why I wanted to leave you hanging.
Okay, starting this over. Number 8. Antietam Creek Campground in Hagerstown, Maryland. It would be surprising if a campground located near the bloodiest battle of the Civil War weren't considered haunted. Antietam Creek is located just a few miles from where the thickest Civil War sighting took place, and where 23,000 men died. Visitors at the campsite have...
And one goat, but they never talk about the goat.
They don't talk about the goat. Visitors at the campsite, however, have reportedly seen ghostly soldiers, or heard the firing of guns, cannons, and the rat-a-tat-tat of military drummers. A narrow country road, now called Bloody Lane, separates the two farms.
That is a metal name.
Bloody Lane.
Excuse me.
Separates the two farms where Union and Confederate troops formed opposing lines. You can also check out the Burnside Bridge and the Antietam National Cemetery. All of these locations played a pivotal role in the Battle of Antietam over 150 years ago.
Yeah, so Civil War ghosts makes sense. The Civil War was very obviously bloody. It was a horrible war. Everyone on both sides had bad losses, and it was fucked up because families were separated and were fighting on either side. And everyone who died in that war was a American. That was the thing. It's a problem with the Civil War.
Yeah, and we were all, we're all supposed to come together as brothers and sisters, and we even still today, we still see the problem with the North and the South. We still had that separation. It's so crazy. And yeah, that's why I truly believe in the ghosts of this area. I agree, because there's a lot of
strong feelings
in this, and just the time and the deaths were just so horrific.
Well, it doesn't matter what side you were on, man. It was horrific to get a cannonball knocks off your leg. Do you remember that scene in The Patriot?
I was just about to say it's the best depiction.
That was the Revolutionary War, to be fair, not the Civil War. But the technology was very similar at that time.
I don't think, I want to say it was. We didn't use anything different really that much.
Yeah, it was only in the last 100 years we've had such a crazy jump in technology. Back then, 100 years could pass and there wasn't much difference.
We've only been around since the 1700s. We're such a young nation. It's so bizarre. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Ooh, well, guys, that completes our haunted campsite episode. Yeah. So we did that because it was summer. I don't know. I was trying to think of what spooky stuff would be summer themed.
I've never been more scared than coming out of my tent at night to have to use the bathroom. It's petrifying in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, because you're used to having some kind of light, and when you're out in the middle of the woods, especially if you're rustic camping, it is pitch black. You've never seen it so dark.
And I've camped in New Mexico where they warned us of mountain lions and bears and rattlesnakes and tarantulas and scorpions. They have all that fun stuff out there that we don't have here, where the air hurts our face, and that's why I live where the air tends to hurt my face when it's cold. Well, because I don't have to deal with all those other creatures. Oh my God.
Well, can you think about the fact of the people who go out looking for Bigfoot or, the Ozark Howler or any of these cryptozoologists, paranormal investigating types, who actually have to build a tent and go out in the middle of the woods, and they're looking for the Jersey Devil or whatever. Because I bet the sounds and everything you hear at night in your tent are way freakier when you're looking for a cryptid than it is to just camp. So that's even more.
And, I don't know. I have a weird thing where it's I feel sometimes you will shit into existence sometimes. It's by the fact that you are fucking thinking about it.
No, that's funny. I thought you meant you were going to go poop, because you're I have this strange thing where it's you'll shit, because you were talking about coming out of the
will shit.
I know, but
will stuff.
You can will it into existence, but you were talking about going out to the tent to pee. No. So then you're all right, there's this thing where you will shit. And I'm all right, why do you need to go?
No, but I mean, you eventually will shit. But I was saying that you can will stuff.
Let's say manifest.
You can manifest things, correct. whether it be like for real, like you're actually like, you know, like the whole saying of nothing was there until you're there to see it. The
Schrodinger's cat thing.
Or is it really just in your head? Like you are kind of seeing things and hearing things, or, you know, in a different way that you would normally perceive, because you are willing that into existence. You are bringing that into your perception.
Well, there's been a few movies and TV shows of sci-fi or horror nature where let's say it doesn't actually exist, but because your mind believes it so much, the effects of it existing still get you. So like, let's say you're so afraid of a bear that you imagine a bear, and there is no bear, but because you imagine the bear, the scratches from the bear appear across your chest or on your arm.
Oh my God.
That you manifested getting an attack. Like your mind believed it so much that your body reacted as if you were actually receiving that trauma.
Damn. No, I never heard of it like that. I was just thought like you literally manifest a fucking bear. Like you're like, man, I hope I don't run into a bear.
Bear!
And then, oh my God, it's a bear. And like, there's the bear. And like that was kind of like where I was, but man, like actually you manifest like a result of a bad experience with said bear.
Earthling Entertainment special report. So, Halo has been canceled after 2 seasons from Paramount Plus. So, no more Halo. Sorry if you like that show. Maybe another network will pick it up. It's hard to say. Also, Kevin Feige is getting a star on the Walk of the Hollywood Fame. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't have one already. And all of that is our Earthling Entertainment special report.
Ryan's disclosure discussion. It's about aliens and stuff.
Survey reveals Russian opinions on aliens. This comes to us from coasttocoastam.com. An enlightening new survey from Russia provides rare insights into what residents of the country think about aliens. The rather expansive study reportedly polled a staggering 116,000 people about the hotly debated topic. Among the revealing findings from the survey were that a whopping 79% of the participants expressed a belief in the existence of aliens.
So that's most people. And I'd say that's fair. Most people in the United States or even around the world, mostly people believe in aliens now.
Right. While 21% responded negatively to such a scenario, meanwhile, a mere 10% expressed the opinion that the Russian government is hiding the truth about extraterrestrials.
We think the same thing.
Which is a remarkable contrast to America, where a conspiratorial concept is far more widely believed. Right, yeah, we totally believe that shit.
Yeah, were they saying they don't? Yeah. I misunderstood that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so they're like, nah, they're not hiding shit from us. We're
like, they're totally hiding everything.
I feel like, I don't know if I want to be, we're not getting into politics right here, but in the United States, let's just say our politics are all over the place and ridiculous, and it's rough. I don't even know how I feel about it. Continue, Ryan.
That's a good way to put it. It's rough. As for what it would take for a survey participant to believe that ETs are real, 49% of the Russian public indicated that they would need to see aliens with their own eyes for such a fantastic scenario to be confirmed. Below that, 20% said that they would trust the word of a respected scientist, and 12% would be satisfied with video proof. Shockingly, only 10% of the people said that they would believe President Putin if he revealed that aliens were real.
Okay, so obviously our view of Putin is going to be very skewed by the country we live in, so I don't know. But my impression is most people don't believe him.
That would be my thing is,
right?
It would suck for him to say it, because I would assume that it's just propaganda, control.
Yeah, there's some kind of reason behind it, some motive behind it.
Because we have heard the theory that, they will reveal it, like, or they'll say, oh yeah, it is aliens and that's a UFO. And it might just be one of our reverse engineered, and they'll kind of use that to get the people to back the government more. Like, there's that conspiracy theory.
There's a lot of crazy conspiracy theories about the whole re-engineering of UFOs. It's
right.
not. I will say the few things in here is I understand, like, needing to see it to believe it. The 49% needing to see it and believe it. I get that, right? The 12% of the respected scientists saying it, I feel like we would I want to feel like we would have more. I want to feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, okay, American people, aliens are fucking real. They're here. They're biological extraterrestrial entities and they have intelligence. I just would like to believe there's more than 12% of people who'd believe it. But I don't know, man. Every day that passes, I realize that as a populace, I've grown up giving us too much credit.
Well, I guess so. I guess I just always assumed that all of us knew UFOs were a thing. The universe is far too big for us to be alone, and that the government is just flat out lying about what they know and that they do know something that they're hiding from us. I literally just thought that was common knowledge, even when I was a kid.
I mean, we did grow up watching the Sci-Fi Channel, but come on, man. It's so weird. And I don't want to get into this. There's a lot of sensitive topics here.
There are.
It's weird to me that any religion at all, you could pick one, that there are definitely some beliefs in there that are hard to believe. But you say there is a different creature on a different planet, and that's crazy.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can believe all this theology from whatever religion it is that I follow, but the idea of an alien helping build the pyramids, well, that's just blasphemy. That nonsense. I don't get it.
No, it's hard to grasp, right? And that's
By
always
the way,
just...
do you like how I tiptoed? I really tried to.
No, you did fine. And it's just kind of how we always cover where different parts of the world, different cultures and all that view these things as different things. Maybe they've had their experiences and they just interpreted how they do, how they interpret. We're just asking questions,
And I guess that's what this survey's all about, According to this, the Russian people have a bunch of different opinions on extraterrestrial life, and it's not that different than us. And I would say it's probably not that different from most people around the world. Most people would need to see it to believe it. Other people would believe scientists or video, like the problem is video's getting more advanced. So 10% of people being like, I believe a video. I want to believe a video, but I'm I'm a filmmaker. I went to film school. You know what I mean? I've lived in Hollywood, and let me tell you, you can do a lot with computers. So seeing a video, like when people are like, here's a UFO, I personally am always skeptical until people who have the means to analyze the video weigh in on it.
Yeah, and you have to. You have to be a skeptic. You know what I mean? Like you have
in order to find the truth.
Yeah, a little bit.
And to say, I believe in UFOs. I believe in UAPs. I want to believe they are being piloted by alien beings. And I'm open to the idea that they're from other universes.
Yep.
And even if it is just our vehicles that we re-engineered after a spaceship, that still would prove that aliens existed
100%.
For that spaceship to be re-engineered. So I'm here for it.
Unless they come up with some like big lie about like some kind of like breakthrough or whatever in some lab.
But any big lie would have to be so fantastic that you might as well just stick with the truth.
They've done it before though. Wouldn't shock me, but I hope that they would go your route. So it continues on here. But what about the ETs themselves? Are they friend or foe? The Russian respondents were split on this question, with 24% suggesting that they would be hostile to humans and 23% saying that they would come in peace. Contrasting with the idea that aliens know of our existence and choose not to present themselves to the planet, perhaps the most peculiar insight from the survey is that 53% of the Russian participants muse that ETs are actually unaware of humans, and both civilizations would be equally surprised if or when our two species ever cross paths.
I mean, that actually is a pretty normal theory, because think about it, like we here on Earth have not seen aliens, so it's very easy to think that there's another planet out there with creatures who have not found us yet.
Yeah, no, that tracks. And that's I actually kind of, because they say we have no idea how they think, how they perceive things around them. Maybe maybe they don't even see us the way that we don't even see them.
Yeah, maybe they speak through movements, or, if you not sound, I don't know, smell. What if they literally release different kind of sense? They have full control over that, and it's a straight up language to them. How would we even know what to do?
I always like the one concept I heard where it's like, how do you think aliens would react to us if they were like plants on Earth, but they were, sentient plants, like they, got their food through sunlight, they didn't have, there was no killing at all. We would be seen as insanely barbaric. Like,
I eat carrots. You monster!
Like, really, for real.
Yeah. And that brings us to the entertainment section of our show. Woo! With our first segment,
Music Mumbles.
Corey Taylor, the Houdini Mansion, and a ghost in the shower. What? This comes to us from loudwire.com.
Aha!
You can add Slipknot to the list of bands who have recorded at the Houdini Mansion in Hollywood, who have noted strange occurrences. The band worked with the producer, Rick Rubin, on their Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses album, which I heard went swimmingly. I heard they didn't get along. I've just heard a lot of interviews about that. That was a crazy recording session between Corey and this guy.
Well, they were in a haunted mansion, sir.
I didn't know about this.
So maybe evil spirits had something to play. Maybe they were just like, let's fuck with it. I feel like musicians are some of the most stable people out there. Let's say as ghosts, if we could maybe tip them over the edge. Wah, wah.
Oh, that was fun. That was funny. That was some deep humor right there. But so on the Subliminal Verses album for Slipknot, and have had odd experiences from their time while they were there, singer Corey Taylor revealed that he was visited while taking a shower. I was alone in our room. The door to our room was shut and locked. The doors to the balcony were shut and locked, but the door to the bathroom was wide open. I was taking a shower, getting ready to hit the town with a vengeance. I was in a great mood, singing along with the Bee Gees and washing all my filthy bits that needed immediate attention.
Hold on. Corey Taylor is singing to the Bee Gees.
While
100%. Soaping his butt.
I can see it. I can hear it.
How did he word it again?
He said that I was in a great mood singing along with the Bee Gees and washing all my filthy bits that needed immediate attention.
See, the immediate attention is the draw to concern there.
My man wears a mask and a full jumpsuit on stage. He gets nasty.
Fair enough.
Really seals in the flavor.
Back to the ghost.
Says Taylor, setting the scene. The shower curtain opened a smidge, and I could see the room from a vantage point. I looked up. A man in a tuxedo walked past the open door, staring right at me. Drummer Joey Jordison, R.I.P., also revealed that he felt a ghostly form pass through him in the basement and reported his door swinging open at the same time, about 9:30 a.m. every morning.
That is creepy.
But there was obviously tension going on there, right? So they're all freaked out from that. Corey was going at it with that producer. So like,
you said they were having a really hard time, or
the worst part they had was for the chorus for "I was a world before I am a man. I was a creature before I could stand. I will remember before I forget. Before I forget that." And the guy argued that was not a good chorus and that he should add more to it or change it, add more singing parts to it.
Needs more cowbell.
Pretty much. And Corey, I'm don't quote me on this, basically told him to F off. And and obviously it stayed the way Corey wanted. And let's face it, that's a great chorus. So I'm on Corey's side.
Fair enough. But here's the real question, Ryan. Do you think ghosts were influencing the tension?
Yes.
Yeah?
If you are a fan of Slipknot, the Subliminal Verses, Volume 3, was a weird album. Very, very weird. You've got Slipknot self-titled, you've got Iowa, and then you get Subliminal Verses. And you get like songs like Vermilion, and there's a lot of we're first really
like Vermilion Part 2.
Yeah.
I remember they played on the radio a lot because it was like it was almost like a slow song. It was like a weird ballad.
It wasn't. Yeah. I believe it was a ballad from like Corey to his dad or whatever. And a lot of fans. It was a very divisive album because he was doing Stone Sour full time as well. So a lot of Slipknot fans were like anti-Stone Sour.
Yeah, that's like he's too affected by his other band.
Correct, because he sang a lot in Stone Sour. We got songs like Bother.
Slipknot and Corey Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ghosts, man.
and ghosts. I don't. There's so many of my favorite artists, like King Diamond, said he straight up saw a pint glass of beer. Like literally, they were all sitting there in their place, and it just raised off the table right in front of all of them, and they all sat there. And he's like, and we weren't even drunk. Like we literally just had a couple. It's not like we didn't hallucinate it. So King Diamond's seen it. Like Corey Taylor's seen it. We've heard it. We've covered other bands that have had paranormal experiences recording.
And we're gonna continue.
Well, yeah, and that's actually pretty cool. Maybe I'm gonna dive into more of that shit because like I really do believe in that. I know Ozzy Osbourne has, Black Sabbath has. It's ghosts are a thing, and when it comes to music, I think there is something there where like the communication becomes a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, well they say the frequency can like tap into different worlds and different dimensions. Like the whole sound is from like Tibetan like meditating. It's supposed to be like the sound the universe makes. Like so it's all there, man.
You tap into that and you don't even, and shit just kind of can come out like another dimension we don't even know.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
Bob Newhart, groundbreaking stand-up comic and TV sitcom legend, dead at 94. This comes to us from RollingStone.com. Bob Newhart, the comedian and actor whose deadpan manner and iconic approach led to a series of best-selling comedy albums and starring roles in 2 long-running sitcoms, died Thursday at the age of 94. Newhart's longtime publicist, Jerry Digney, confirmed the TV icon's death in a statement, adding that Newhart died at his home in Los Angeles after a series of short illnesses.
Yeah, when you get to 94, it doesn't take much.
No, I'd assume not, but yeah, he lived a good long life.
Absolutely.
Understated in his delivery and physically small of stature, he looked like a former accountant that he was. Newhart.
Yeah, he was a former.
Yeah, I guess he was. Newhart, nonetheless, left a sizable footprint on comedy. His first album, 1960's The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart, was a blockbuster, featuring his trademark one-sided conversations. The album won multiple Grammys, including Album of the Year, and achieved the commercial success of a huge pop album. One critic at the time described him as a 20th century Mark Twain in Brooks Brothers clothes. Newhart.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That's
a hell of a compliment.
Spot on. It's spot on, though.
Let me pat you on the head, sir, for that one.
Hell yeah. Newhart parlayed that success into television, starring in 2 hugely popular sitcoms, The Bob Newhart Show in the 70s and Newhart the following decade.
You know what's crazy though? So the Bob Newhart Show was him, and it was like a married couple, and he does his little like family kind of sitcom, right? But then Newhart, his show is him running an Airbnb, and not an Airbnb. Oh my God, a B&B. Excuse me.
I mean, close.
Right on. So he's running a B&B in Newhart, and at the end, the last episode of Newhart, he wakes up and is the character from his other show, the Bob Newhart Show, and the whole second show of him running an Airbnb was a dream that he had as the character from the first show.
What a twist.
Isn't that awesome, though?
That's pretty sweet.
Thank you. Yeah. All right.
I didn't know that Newhart was so epic.
Well, you should have.
I just knew the Bob Newhart Show. That's all I knew of.
I know him because he was in the Librarian movies, which I really liked. They were kind of like a TBS original series. They had 3 movies, and it was kind of like Indiana Jones.
Huh.
Yeah.
No idea.
Cool.
I had no idea. I just Nick at Night used to always be on.
Okay, so that's
when I grew up. So like I saw all the old shows. The former series, which cast Newhart as a psychologist, gingerly addressed issues like mental illness and the emerging gay rights movement. In his later years, Newhart became known to younger generations for his roles in Elf and The Big Bang Theory.
Yes, because he played Will Ferrell's father in Elf.
That's right.
The father elf.
And that's obviously the one where I think, yeah, like for us, that's my Bob Newhart. Like, yeah, I knew his show, but I was too young to really care about it. I didn't understand the references.
So you're just like, the old guy from Elf.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But I mean, of course I knew him from his show. I mean, so rest in peace, Bob Newhart. You will be missed.
Yes, he will. You know what? I like that guy. And it's sad. It is. But 94 is a hell of a run.
That was a hell of a run. And yeah, he seemed like a good grandpa, like, you know, like every good, like he could play like the best grandpa in any role.
I would say so. Hey guys, that brings us to our next segment.
Earthling Entertainment headlines.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto delivers the ultimate ninja crossover.
The ninja crossover.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book line is having a banner year in 2024. Not only is IDW kicking off a star-studded relaunch of the monthly TMNT series and continuing the Last Ronin saga, now they're gearing up for a crossover with one of the biggest anime and manga properties on the planet. That's right, the heroes of TMNT and Naruto are joining forces.
What? They've done a lot of really weird crossovers. The Stranger Things crossover was surprisingly good with Ninja Turtles, and Ninja Turtles is also going to be crossing over with He-Man.
Why?
Because why not, man?
Why not? Why not?
I want to see Ninja Turtles crossover with the Flintstones. Let's just keep this ball rolling, man.
Chucky. There we go. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Chucky.
I could find a way.
Yes, I know you could.
The answer is because comics.
Then it would be like Chucky, like a whole army of Chuckies, and they have to fight like this army of Chuckies, like, you know, because now Chucky can split his soul and shit like that.
Well, the reason why you do that is instead of what you were suggesting, you do the new Chucky where Mark Hamill played the robot Chucky, because then you could tie it into the Mouser technology.
And you know Mark Hamill would come in for that because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
See, he would do it.
Already solved it.
There we go.
All right. But anyways, back to this other one that's real.
Check out the slideshow gallery below for a look. I forgot to say, this comes to us from IGN.com.
So ignore it because there is no slideshow gallery.
Correct. So on IGN.com, they have a gallery to look at cover art and concept designs for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles times Naruto.
And it looks pretty good. They definitely adopted the style from that anime show.
And they have more to read about there about the details of the epic crossover. We're going to tell you a bit here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles times Naruto is a joint effort between IDW Publishing and Viz Media. This 4-issue series is written by Caleb Gowellner, who did Sonic the Hedgehog, and illustrated by Hidney Presetia, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, with colors by Raul Angulo of NYX, and letters by Ed Dukeshire of The Woods, George Jimenez of Batman, and Presetia provided cover art for issue 1. Thank you. I did my best with those names. Everybody who listens to the podcast knows that's my Achilles heel. Here's IDW's official description for issue number 1. It's the coolest ninja matchup you could have ever dreamed of, had you dared.
I don't know. I think the best ninja mashup would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Haru from Beverly Hills Ninja, played by Chris Farley.
Oh my God, Joe, that's amazing.
Now that would be the best comic book crossover. Just saying.
Holy shit, Joe. The heroes in a half shell meet the host of the Nine-Tailed Fox in the crossover everyone will be talking about. Believe it. I don't know if that's the right thing. I think that is. When Teenagers reporter April O'Neil has a clandestine meeting with
clandestine.
You
know,
that threw me
secreted. Yeah, the mustache twirl. Clandestine.
I am
meeting.
adding that to my vocabulary because that is a great word. Meeting with the Tsunade, a leader of the Hidden Leaf Village. It garners the attention of Naruto, Susaki, Sakura, and Kakashi. Sorry, everybody. I don't watch this show. They aren't the only ones who are wondering what the two women were discussing, though. The Sinister Foot Clan have their own interest in April's visit, as they think she might hold valuable information on mutation research being conducted by the scientist Baxter Stockman. With April caught between the forces of the Hidden Leaf Village and the Foot Clan, it can't be long before the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show up and lend her a hand.
Ninja Turtles. You know what? I actually, for a talent show once, I learned the ninja rap from Vanilla Ice.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that. And honestly, Joe, you used to know it Like,
I think I could do. I think I know the first verse. It was like, "Yo, it's the Green Machine gonna rock the town without being seen." Have you ever seen the turtle get down? Slamming and jamming to the new swing sound, groove. Everybody was move. Vanilla's here with the new hip crew to rock and roll the place with the power of the Ninja Turtle face. Iceman. I think that was it.
great, Joe.
I think that was it. I don't know.
I'll give you my own. Thank you. Well done, sir.
The point is, Ninja Turtles can cross over with anything. You just have to believe. You know what else is another one? The Ninja Turtles cross over with Event Horizon. There you go. The sci-fi horror film Event Horizon.
Oh, one or two of them's got to die.
Well, yeah, because all you do is you make it a fucking dream or a simulation, and there's no stakes and nothing matters.
And April O'Neil will be the final girl. It's perfect.
There you go. Solved it. We solved entertainment, right?
Yes. But back to the crossover between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto.
I'm just gonna keep pitching other crossovers.
Honestly, it's a great idea. All of these I'm here for. I would watch it. I will even fund it if it needs it. Need some help. I'll toss you $5. I got 5 on it. Working with acclaimed manga publisher Viz Entertainment, IDW is pulling together 2 of the most popular comics in the world to bring you the 4-issue comic book event of 2024. I'm stoked and humbled to get to work with the coolest talent in comics and manga to introduce the ninja created by my heroes in a massive mutagen and chakra-fueled adventure for fans everywhere. Gwellner tells IGN, "What else can you call it but an honor? Let's party." Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles times Naruto #1 will be released on November 13th, 2024. Yay! Look forward to that.
I look forward to all the Ninja Turtles stuff that's coming out because the last series IDW did was ending, and it was like issue 150, and it was over, and I was like, oh no, is that it? Are we done? Because, eventually everything ends, and then a few years later they'll reboot it, but they're like, nope, we're going to do a new series right away. And actually, the issue #1, I got it today. I haven't read it yet, but I got it today, the new Ninja Turtle series.
Excellent. Yeah. You'll have to give us a review once you get to reading that.
It depends. I don't know how many people care, but maybe I'll make you all listen to it anyways.
I care.
Excellent. And that brings us to something else that I care about. The new DC Universe, created by James Gunn and David Safran, who are the head of DC Studios for Warner Brothers. They're rebooting the entire fucking thing, guys. So everything you thought was going on, clean slate. Just so you know.
Here we go.
Headline #2.
James Gunn dropped a massive update on his DCU plans. This comes to us from Collider.com. The creative mastermind behind the reboot at DC Studios just provided a massive update on several major upcoming projects. When responding to a fan on his personal Threads account, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn revealed which projects he's completed writing and screenplays and teleplays for, while also confirming he is involved in producing other projects. The fan asked, apart from the Creature Commandos, Superman, and Peacemaker, were there any other projects that Gunn was working on? To which he responded, producing, yes, but those are all the projects I've written full screenplays and teleplays for.
Which makes sense, because he wrote, I'm pretty sure, all of the first season of Peacemaker, and this new Peacemaker is even though they're calling it season 2, it takes place in the new universe, and the first season isn't canon. So I don't even know what that means. Yeah, totally. And the Creature Commandos is a great show. It's going to be more of the monsters and stuff from DC. And yeah, in fact, this first segment, how like we had the, phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 of Marvel. Well, they're calling theirs segments, and this one is Monsters and Gods, or Gods and Monsters. So Creatures Commandos is going to be an animated show with a bunch of the monsters, like Weasel from that from that Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad.
Yes, the one.
I love that was the difference. Is it was Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad.
Well, they did the same thing with Final Destination 4. It was Final Destination was the first one, and then the fourth one was the Final Destination. And we're different, kind of. Anyways, back to James Gunn. Continue.
Yes, and his massive update on his DCU plans. Later in the thread, Gunn also confirmed that Superman was several weeks away from wrapping filming and recently completed a round of shooting in Cleveland which amounted to the plethora of set photos being released to the public. It stands to reason that these projects are the ones have finished screenplays and teleplays, especially considering one of which is in Creature Commandos is set to premiere on Max later this year.
I'm excited.
That's going to be a good one.
It's going to be like I'm pretty sure it's going to be like an adult-oriented cartoon, like the Harley Quinn cartoon. So I'm excited. I like that stuff.
So King Shark will probably be in it?
I don't know, but he would fit the bill.
Right. Gunn also confirmed in the same thread that he's prioritizing shooting Superman while Greg Mottola films Peacemaker Season 2 in Atlanta. Gunn confirmed not so long ago.
There's just not a space there. His name is Greg.
I thought it was a name.
Yeah, no, it's Greg Mottola, and then films this fucking show.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so start that line over.
I am Ron Burgundy. I read the prompter. Okay, exactly as it is put. While Greg Mottola films Peacemaker Season 2 in Atlanta, Gunn confirms not long ago that former Marvel star Frank Grillo, who was confirmed by Collider last year to star as Rick Flag Sr. in Creature Commandos, will also face off against John Cena's Christopher Smith in Peacemaker Season 2. When Chapter 1 of the DCU, Gods and Monsters, was first announced, Gunn revealed that the same actors would play their characters in live-action animation and even video games.
Which I really like. That is some synergy right there, guys.
Yes, and it appears he's already following through on that promise. Gunn has proven himself to be one of the most transparent executives in Hollywood history, remaining unafraid to provide fans with updates and respond to questions honestly and earnestly. In a different thread, Gunn also confirmed that Creature Commandos is set before Superman and that all the upcoming DCU projects are set in the order they're going to be released.
So they won't confuse you, like that Black Widow movie that came out after she died, but took place before she died.
Yes, yes. This means the first official DCU project will be Creature Commandos, followed by Superman and Peacemaker Season 2, with other projects like Waller coming at a later date.
That's the Amanda Waller show.
Got it. After the new age of DC movies and TV shows was announced last year, the wait is now almost over for a new era of stories.
Are you ready for some more?
Oh, yeah. Creature Commandos will premiere later this year in December. So let's move along here.
All right, guys. Headline number three. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Small Town Monsters investigates the infamous Land Between the Lakes massacre in Dogman territory.
Yeah, Small Town Monsters is a company.
This comes to us from rumorg.com. In Dogman territory, werewolves in the Land Between the Lakes. Documentarian Seth Breedlove and authors and investigators Shannon Legros and Aaron Deese of Small Town Monsters tackle one of the most controversial and notorious urban legends in North American history. Located on the borders of Kentucky and Tennessee, the area known as the Land Between the Lakes has long been a hotbed of cryptid and paranormal phenomena, including hauntings, Sasquatch sightings, and strange lights in the sky. However, the region's long length of high strangeness pales in comparison to eyewitness reports of mysterious dogmen that have been responsible for several violent and mysterious deaths. Small Town Monsters' latest doc features exclusive interviews with those who have encountered these vicious lycanthropic entities.
Lycanthrope.
Thank you.
They're werewolves. They're saying werewolves.
Correct.
That's what a lycanthrope is.
Thank you. And have lived to tell the tale. Researchers Jesse and Joe Doyle of Hellbent Holler relate the story of the LBL massacre and how they went from skeptics to believers. Dogman Territory Werewolves in the Land Between the Lakes is now streaming on Prime Video. Pre-order the Blu-ray or DVD exclusively from the official Small Town Monsters website.
Yeah, and we wanted to discuss this documentary because, one, I love supporting, smaller filmmakers, and two, This is right up our alley, man.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. I love that we're still getting new documentaries on legends and tales like this because, like we've always said, it can't. Some of it's got to be true. There's got to be something there.
Well, yeah. Well, why don't you watch this documentary and check it out for yourself? That is Dogman Territory, and the best. Just stream it on Prime, I would assume, would be the best way to do that.
Yep. I think the full name is Dogman Territory: Werewolves in the Land Between the Lakes. Number 4. Headline number 4. Twisters takes box office by storm with the 3rd biggest opening of the year.
I don't know why a laugh track was necessary there. But you know what? The box office has been kind of shitty because there hasn't been a lot of movies because of all the strikes. So that's why we want to celebrate the fact that another movie has hit. Another movie's good. Our theaters are still alive. It's an awesome thing.
And I just can't say it without saying Twisters has taken the box office by storm and wrangled $80.5 million in North America, making it the 3rd biggest opening weekend of the year. As reported, this comes to us from IGN.com, as reported by ComScore, Twisters ticket sales in the US and Canada put it behind Inside Out 2, which has a mere $154.2 million.
These are all opening weekends, Ryan, so that's a huge deal.
That's why I was joking. A mere, like I was being sarcastic. And Dune Part 2's $82.5 million. Actually, I actually thought that they did better than that, but for the biggest start of the year. It also boasts the top opening for a natural disaster movie, eclipsing The Day After Tomorrow, which opened to $68.4 million in 2004. I mean, honestly, back in 2004, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's a pretty huge opening.
That's fucking huge. Lee Isaac Chung's blockbuster sequel brought in a further $42.7 million internationally, resulting in a global box office total of $123.2 million against a reported budget of $155 million. While the original Twister, released in 1996, sucked up a total of $494 million worldwide on a budget of $92 million.
A lot of money.
That did significantly better.
Oh.
Twisters video review. Twisters is a standalone sequel to the memorable Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt disaster flick. It returns to the tornado-plagued plains of Oklahoma for more storm-chasing adventures with an ensemble cast led by Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, and Anthony Ramos, who weather the storm together through it to the movie's end.
Oh!
Spoiler alert, apparently. The movie's...
I don't know, man. It says
one of them should have died.
They weather it till the movie's in. That doesn't... So it could be at the very end, and then they all fucking die.
It's like, we made it, and then it's just like a piano drops. Bit!
Yeah, it's like a Final Destination movie ending. Like, no, the cow from the first movie comes back.
Yeah,
Except
right,
now it's long dead. It's been in this tornado for 30 years.
And then
it just smacks them, Ryan. They're bowled over by this dead cow.
And then it just ends with clips like of a newspaper, like man breaks the fall of a cow. The cow survives, but the man dies. The movie touched down in theaters on July 19th and has received generally positive reviews. Universal has yet to announce a streaming release date for Twisters, but it will eventually be released on Peacock, followed by Prime Video.
Yeah, Peacock is because Universal owns that.
The Peacock?
Peacock! I get it, because like NBC, or it's a Peacock is like their,
That's their logo, yeah.
Yeah, but that being said, that's a terrible name for a streaming site.
I mean, it stands out. I know what it is.
They're trying to peacock. They're peacocking?
Yeah. Oh. They're doing a Rugrats with lip shits. I'm just saying, man. We were all kids running around going lip shits. I remember my parents being like, what? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's on the show. And they're like, well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. That brings us to number 5.
Number 5.
The Acolyte brought Darth Plagueis the Wise to live-action Star Wars.
Yeah, and that was kind of a big deal because that was the first time that Darth Plagueis has been seen at all, right?
At all.
Yeah.
At all. That is his first appearance on live action. That's the best thing about, you know how I feel about series in general, not just Star Wars series. I'm not a huge fan of series. I prefer movies. However, I feel like with these series, we've gotten a lot more first times when it comes to live action. Like, we got Zeb from Rebels in Ahsoka. We've gotten like a lot. I'm sorry, that was Mandalorian season 3. Forgive me. And we've gotten a lot of firsts. You know what I mean? From these series.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
This comes to us from Nerdist.com. It finally happened. The Acolyte Season 1 finale brought one of Star Wars' most infamous figures to live action. The Stranger wasn't the only dark side user hiding out on this unknown planet. Once Khmer and Osha flew off, Sheev Palpatine's master, the Mune Sith Lord, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. Emerged from the shadows, Darth Plagueis is here, and more importantly, he knows about the galaxy far, far away's most incredible creation. For all its many battles and lightsaber fights, one of the prequel trilogy's most exciting moments came during a quiet conversation at a space opera. In Revenge of the Sith, Chancellor Palpatine regaled Anakin Skywalker with an enticing Sith legend. Palpatine told him a story the Jedi never would: the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Anakin was suffering from visions of Padme's death, a future he desperately hoped to avoid. Palpatine preyed on the young Jedi's fears with a tale of the incredible unnatural abilities offered those who walked in a different pathway in the Force. He told Anakin about the Sith Lord Plagueis, who had knowledge of a dark side. He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying by manipulating midichlorians. For a young man hoping to save his pregnant wife from death, it was enough to begin pulling Anakin away from the light. What made the story of Plagueis so endearing, though, wasn't the power he supposedly learned, but the end he met. It suggested that Plagueis was far more important to the story than just being a tool of manipulation. Palpatine and Plagueis grew so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Plagueis' own apprentice, having learned everything he could learn from his master, killed the Sith Lord in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself, said Palpatine. Was Palpatine lying all about it? Only telling a partial truth? Or was he being completely honest with Anakin? If everything he said actually happened, the implication was clear and exciting. Palpatine was the very apprentice who killed Plagueis.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. Like, that was exactly what I thought they were saying.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's in the book.
Well, the book came later, so the book totally did confirm it for sure. But
oh yeah, and in the book he just got him hammered. That's how Palpatine killed Plagueis, and literally mocked him as he just chopped him to bits because he was too drunk to defend himself. Because the Mune had just won like a big position, and he liked to drink when he celebrates. He's like, drink more. And then he's just like, oh, Darth Plagueis the Wise, just chopping pieces off of him, just mocking him. It was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a really Sith thing to do. I could see that.
It was sick. Off-screen Star Wars stories confirmed he was, and that he has remained true in the franchise's new canonical Disney era. Plagueis was everything Palpatine said he was, a massively powerful Sith Lord who could create life and save others from death. Remember that, people. But Star Wars has explored more Plagueis, more notably, that became so obsessed with the science of immortality. A power the Sith Lords had long sought. He grew distracted. His very quest to live forever doomed him, because the Sith rule of two meant there could only be two. There could only be two Dark Lords at a time. For Palpatine, To become a master, he needed to kill his own. Plagueis the Wise should have recognized his apprentice's ambition and plot. He should have known Palpatine was planning to kill him. Instead, he never saw his murder coming. While Plagueis died, his work endured and changed the galaxy far, far away forever. His apprentice took everything he learned from his master and spent generations trying to cheat death himself. Without the work of Plagueis, Palpatine never would have returned, somehow, after Anakin Skywalker killed him in Return of the Jedi. He never would have been able to make a clone body in the first place, nor would he have created Snoke and lured Ben Solo to the dark side of the Force. Man, this is a good article. Now we know the very obsession that cost Plagueis his life was directly connected to the Acolyte's unique twins. He learned about what Mother Anastasia accomplished with Osha and May. She created life, 2 from 1, using the Force. Her accomplishment could have sent Plagueis on a path to not only know how to control life itself, but to master it, and therefore death. His work, which became Palpatine's work, would probably not have been possible without the twins. How did he know about May and Osha? Why was he even hiding in a cave creepily on that unknown planet in the first place?
Hey, what's up? I'm just chilling in my cave.
Hey there. Like the one voice from Family Guy.
It's like, is that old Greg?
We have a chunk. Bayless from a shoe. It seems unlikely, though not impossible, that Khmer knew Plagueis was there. Of course, I think. Let alone that he was Plagueis' apprentice. The Sith rule of 2 would have prevented Khmer from claiming a true apprentice on his own. Plagueis' surprise appearance could be why he's creeping. Khmer's use of the word acolyte and his own lack of a master indicate Khmer probably isn't even a Sith. Plagueis definitely is, and he's a powerful one. That unknown planet might be strong in the dark side and drew Plagueis there for the same reasons Khmer called it home. Or it might have been Osha's arrival that led Plagueis there. He was powerful in the dark side of the Force, and Osha's presence on a dark side planet might have been like a beacon to a Sith. Whatever brought him there is less important than what he found. Mother Anastasia's daughters have a lot in common with Anakin Skywalker, but they aren't as powerful as him. As the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland told us, the twins were guinea pigs in the galaxy's most important experiment. Darth Plagueis learned about it firsthand and dedicated his life to improving upon it. Unfortunately, the powers he will soon unlock in the dark side of the Force will help his apprentice bring down both the Jedi and the Sith, but only after he kills Plagueis the Wise first.
Ba, 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 ja, ba, da, da, ba, ba.
And I dare say Plagueis is definitely his master, because when Khmer takes off his robe, we see a giant scar down his back. And when the Green Jedi, forgive me, I forget her name, sees Khmer and recognizes him, she goes, "You're alive."
Rowe.
Thank you. You're alive. She thought she had killed him, and the way it was curved down his back proves it was done with her lightsaber, because she has the whip. Yes.
Yeah.
So I believe she did kill him, and I believe Plagueis brought him back to life.
Ooh, I like it.
That's what I believe.
Well, I mean, that's good. I believe you're right, Ryan. I believe you're right. I just know this was a really good article, and I know you'd really enjoy it and have a lot to say.
Yes.
I wanted to throw it out there because a lot of people were upset with the Acolyte as it was getting released. But then once the final episode came out, more people jumped to the side saying that it was a decent Star Wars show. It was actually pretty good. You just had to binge it because the week by week, for some reason, there was the unanswered questions just pissed people off.
And honestly, I was guilty of this last week. I was kind of I mean, I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm just saying that it to me, it just suffers from the same ailments that all series nowadays do. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm more of a movie guy. But yes, now that we've got, it seems like the coolest part about this show was not in the show, but in the background, kind of because of this show, canonized and brought to light. You know what I mean? Like these little things. So that's the best part. So, you know, we got to see the first time a lightsaber crystal was bled. And they did it in a really cool way, like in real time, like quite literally in her hand as ignited. She was able to put all of her hatred into it, and the blade went from blue to red, starting at the hilt all the way to the tip, which was pretty sick.
Yeah, so kyber crystals are the crystals used to power lightsabers, and bleeding them is the process of turning them into basically Sith lightsabers, the red lightsabers.
And going back to what I've mentioned before, that really pay attention to the music, the musical score in Star Wars. When we see Plagueis creeping from that cave, it plays Emperor Palpatine's theme.
Does it?
Yes.
Very cool.
So that's the tie-in, like basically tying it. To me, that's just tying it all in that, yep, here, that's definitely Plagueis, because it tied him to Palpatine. So we get things like that. We got our first Wookiee Jedi live action, and we got like a real badass fight with him, just to throw that back. Because I watched that episode again. I'm like, yeah, you know what, because I think I dogged on that episode, and I want to take it back because that battle was so sick.
Well, I heard the action in this show is just phenomenal. And some of the best live action Star Wars fights there's been.
Hands down. Hands down, like we had covered before, it brought Cortosis metal, where that disrupts the lightsabers of the Jedi, and he fights like a crazy man, because Jedi of this era are used to just being obeyed. They're not used to everybody just gives up. So this is their first time ever really having to fight something. And then we get the big reveal at the end that, are the Jedi, you know, really truly as, you know, do they really know what's right?
Well, the thing is, when any organization is like the powerful in the law, and well, they become complacent, and all the values they may have had are just really weak by the time they actually are forced to, you know, defend them again.
I stand behind that Acolyte. Really, they had a hard time getting it rolling, and people need to, we just always say, just enjoy it. If you're a fan, you know, give it a chance. Once it's over, then, you know, you could say what you have to say about it. But honestly, I'm going to give Acolyte another say with all the background, all the things that are in the background. There's so many things from the books that they've brought back, and I like that, and I think it's a brave move by them.
Canonizing the stuff the fans like, always a good choice.
And if you haven't finished Acolyte, I really don't want to spoil it for you. There's some cool cameos that go on. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll be like, awesome.
Well, if you're a fan of Star Wars and you haven't seen the Acolyte yet, I would argue that through just being on the internet, you know everything that happened in that show anyways.
I will hand it to the internet. I have yet to see the reveal that I'm thinking of, you know, thrown out there yet.
Sure.
And I don't want to say it here, so I'm going to go ahead and say at least watch. I would say if you don't want to watch the whole thing, watch episode 4, 5, and the finale. Like literally, that's my thing. But I suggest the whole thing, obviously, because there's a whole story there, and I get it. It's a slow roll, but like Joe said, binge that shit. You won't be disappointed. They did a great job. It's the best fighting we've ever seen in Star Wars in years. It's some of the best lightsaber battles. We even get martial arts in it, which is badass. The whole thing was just, they took a real brave fucking leap at it. They had, you know, maybe it was a little divisive with the fans, but all in all, they brought some good shit, and I'm looking forward to what's next.
All right, guys. So with that actually brings us to the end of the show this week.
Aww.
I know. Thank you all very much for listening. And if you want to support the show, the best way to do that is to download the episode wherever you listen to this podcast. It doesn't matter, but go ahead and hit that download button. It'll help us out.
Yeah, we just want to thank all of you who listen every week. It means a lot to us. Yes, please download it. If you have any questions, anything that you want us to talk about, if you've had an experience, if you've seen a UFO, if you got photos or anything like that and you want to tell us, share it with us, please. Honestly, the easiest way to get a hold of us is on Facebook Messenger. We are on Facebook, Earthling Entertainment.
Yep, or you could email us at earthlingentertainment@gmail.com, but you will get a quicker response through Facebook.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for listening. And from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment, I bid you a good day.
Peace out.
Goodbye. Bye. See ya. I'm going now.
Okay.
See ya.
Drive
Bye.
safe.